rights activist. He brings a conservative point of view to black issues. His mission: to provide a forum for honest discussions about social issues without the liberal lapdogs shutting down the discussion. Broadcasting from the American Truth Project Studios in beautiful Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. This is Conservative Nation with your host, Jermain Botsio.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Conservative Nation with me, your gracious host, Jermain Botsio. And on today's show, as you guys know, it's Double Barrel J's Wednesdays, and I got the one, the only mind of Jamal. How are you doing here, sir?
Hello! It's time to play. You know it. We had a little shocker this week. I was fighting something, and Facebook said some things and took my page, and they take my page down. I can't post until Friday, but I can't go live for 30 days. And here's the funny thing, Jermaine. Instagram said I was good, put the video back up. Somehow Facebook went and they communicated. Next thing you know, they took the video back down, but Instagram didn't remove me or put a restriction on. So it's some behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah,
that's going
it's still happening.
And I'll be honest, I'm kind of glad President Trump, we will talk about later, when it came to the tech bill, took some of that stuff out them tech bros wanted. Because that's the battle, the tech bros versus the populace.
Absolutely. The censorship is still going on. I want a lot folks to understand that it's still going on. That's why you can see that a lot of folks are still moving. They're still getting to Rumble. They're still trying to, close their pages and do all that hoopla. They're still making sure that the word doesn't get out there. So that's why it's very important to hit that like button and share. That's one thing I stress the most. If you can't
Jermaine,
donate,
you gotta echo. It sounded like you doing a yo. Yeah. You got to echo.
Oh, I got an echo?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me see here. Yeah, let me see here. Right here, Bluetooth, and let me see here.
Sounds like you in a tunnel.
All right. Let me see if this works.
Everybody said you sound like, how in the movies, how they have the Lord Jesus talking to people and he's talking from the sky. That's what they said. Y'all see the comments. All right, now y'all borderline blasphemy. Y'all better chill. Yeah, y'all better chill. Y'all being a little borderline blasphemy.
Yeah. Let me see here. I'm thinking I know what it is here, but okay. Uh-huh. Let me. All right. All right. How do I sound now?
Still sound like you're ready to the dreaded "Come, my son, it is time to go."
Okay. Let me see here. Okay, I got it. I know what it is. I found it.
There you go. You sound better, Jermain.
I found it.
Everybody been laughing.
Yeah, I switched some stuff around in the studio.
Uh-huh.
And you're not gonna believe this. I had one of my portable USB drives sitting on a button. Yeah, and I couldn't understand. I'm like, everything's is proper, and I look one more time, and I was like, what is this thing sitting on here? And pretty soon, I figured it out. So I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm absolutely sorry about that. I didn't know it was sitting on a button there. But let's go ahead and get rocking, brother. I think I wasted too much time screwing around, being black. I'm ready to rock and roll. So what about yourself?
I'm ready, and I want to thank Shane. Hey, y'all. Shane done stepped in. He donated to the page. He donated to us. Listen,
shout out to Shane.
Everyone. You can tip us now. The bill is passed in the Senate. The tax-free tips. So if it's $3, if it's $2, tip us. Tip us. Show you that you care. Don't treat us like a redhead stepchild.
Yep. Don't you do it.
Tip.
Yeah, you know about them ginger children. I'm telling you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, them ginger children, I heard they have no soul. Yeah. I heard about them. Yeah, they're on South Park. I kid you not. Yeah, absolutely. So, brother, I see everybody's in the comments. Everybody's waiting. Mm-hmm. They're ready to rock. I'm ready to flame. Let's go ahead and rock.
Let's rock.
Let's flame. First one up here, ladies and gentlemen. First one up. I want to go ahead and speak to you guys about transgender athlete here in Minnesota. Oh, yeah. This lawsuit got filed about 3.5 weeks ago. And I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Keith Bridges from Quarantine Podcast. He's the one who shared this story. So I want to make sure he gets some of the credit for this here. I didn't know that this was going on here in Minnesota, but apparently it is. Minnesota seems to be the trans capital of the world right now. Other than it being a liberal haven, let me tell you something. It's going to be a trans haven too. This lawsuit deals with a softball player in Minnesota who is whooping these girls' butt in softball. I'm telling you, they're whooping them. I want to go ahead and run this when it come back. I want to get you guys' take on this. Why do we have this problem persistent here in America? What's wrong with America? And what's wrong with the young ladies? I mean, when are they going to wake up? You going to allow, a fake girl to beat you and get all the accolades? That's crazy. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you do share. Here we go.
A new lawsuit has been filed in federal court challenging Minnesota's transgender athlete policy in girls' sports.
The complaint was brought forward on behalf of several metro area high school softball players. Fox 9's So Young Kim joins us in studio tonight to break this down for us. So Young, what is in this complaint?
Randy Kelsey, according to the lawsuit, 3 female high school softball players say their experience competing against a transgender athlete undermines fairness, sacrifices their safety, and violates Title IX. This is the lawsuit the Alliance Defending Freedom filed Monday on behalf of Female Athletes United, an advocacy organization. As you can see here, defendants listed are Minnesota agencies, leaders, and the State High School League. The complaint highlights the experience of 3 Minnesota high school softball players. In the lawsuit, a junior at Maple Grove says she lost against a biologically male athlete in both the regular season and sectionals. A junior at Farmington says she would have had to compete against a biologically male player for pitching time, which led to her decision to quit the club team. And a sophomore at Farmington says being hit by a pitch thrown by the biologically male pitcher hurt more than other times in similar situations. The documents focus on an unnamed student who they say is a biologically male athlete on the girls' high school softball team for Champlin Park. In response to the complaint, Attorney General Keith Ellison's office sent us this statement that reads in part, quote, "I believe it is wrong to single out one group of students who already face higher levels of bullying and harassment and tell these kids they cannot be on the team because of who they are. I will continue to defend the rights of all students to play sports with their friends and peers." Minnesota Department of Human Rights says, quote, "The Minnesota Human Rights Act is one of the strongest civil rights laws in the country and protects every Minnesotan from discrimination. We will respond in court." And the lawsuit is asking for updates to policy and to correct all records. We also did hear back from the school district Maple Grove High is in. It says its team is reviewing this matter. Live in studio tonight, So Young Kim, Fox 9.
All right.
Brother, my goodness gracious, let me tell you, that's crazy. The girls are complaining. All that emotion that the women had, the girls had, for the trans person, it all went out the window when that trans girl started whooping all their asses up. You know what I'm saying? Girls complaining that, hitting the ball that was thrown by the trans girl hurt more than the biological girls. You get what I'm saying? The girls are mad that they're not able to get opportunities to go further in the sport because the biological male that's there is, taking up all the opportunities and the accolades. What do you think about this here, sir?
Well, it's common sense. It's biology. Men are stronger than women, and everybody knows it. That's why you don't have a trans man beating any dudes. Yep. Notice that? You don't see a trans man going playing baseball and he knocking home runs. Nope. You don't see a trans man playing basketball and beating all the dudes. Nope. You don't see a trans man swimming with a bunch of men and beat them. Nope. So it's a one-sided because it's science. It's biology. It's God.
Mm-hmm.
God made us male, female. He made men stronger. He made women more. I ain't gonna say he made them that way, but women are more conniving. That's why if a man conquers a kingdom, he does it with force and with armies, and he's strong.
Yep.
When a woman conquers a kingdom, she usually does it by sleeping with her way through and using her instincts to conquer everybody and win.
Yep.
AKA Game of Thrones.
Yep. Telling lies.
Cersei Lannister. Cersei Lannister ended up being the queen, even though when it fell apart, she was queen. Cersei Lannister. So this is the here Keith Ellison, the Attorney General. He's a wacko lib, of course, and of course he's going to defend the trans person. Oh Lord, this person, this woman, no. Stop it. And I hope he gets embarrassed in court.
Absolutely. You know, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, ladies and gentlemen, look how evil this man is. I believe it's wrong to single out one group of students. He's only caring about the agenda. He doesn't care about the girls that are put at a disadvantage because of the rule that allows this transgender female to be there. And let's just call it what it is. He's a loser guy.
Yeah.
He's a loser guy, ladies and gentlemen. That's what he is. He can't play with the boys.
Loser.
You know why? Because he's a loser. Absolutely. So he has to go and play with the girls and dominate them. Instead of him to, raise up his game and come and hang out with the guys and get some real competition, he's over here slaughtering the girls and making himself feel better. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Shane 0316 donated on Rumble. Shout out to you, brother. Absolutely. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. That's the only way that these guys are able to, go through life and get their goals. Instead of them to be with the guys and get some challenge, they go to the females and go and do this type of stuff. I think it's absolutely wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Brother, any last words on this here?
Like I said, it's science, then it's biology. God already said he made us male, female. Men are stronger than women. When you see look, Samson defeated all the army with the jawbone and he destroyed them and pulled the pillars down. But who defeated Samson? Delilah.
Mm-hmm.
She used her cunning, her wit. She defeated him. If they were both the same, as Keith Ellis said, there's no difference, then I want to see the trans man that is dominating any men sport.
But to play devil's advocate here, is it evil? Is it, in a sense, bullying to, quote unquote, single out the transgender person in this sense, because this is what Keith Ellison is saying. Keith Ellison is saying this person is already subjected to scrutiny and subjected to bullying. And for us to sit here and point them out, it continues the bullying. What do you say to that? Somebody who says something like that? Is telling the truth about what's going on, is that bullying?
You know, we used to have a thing when people were suffering from mental illness, we didn't play along. Like if I went out to the top of the building and I said, "Look, I'm Batman," and I tried to throw something and swing across the building, my brothers, my dad, and my mom would whoop my hind part and tell me the land of make-believe, it's okay to play make-believe, but reality done set in. It is not cruel to tell these people you have a mental issue. Get you some help. Because people shouldn't have to play your game of make-believe. At the end of the day, if it's bullying on one side, it's bullying the other.
That's what I said.
Forcing people to play make-believe. If I don't want to play your make-believe, then dang blasted, I should have a right to tell you, no, I ain't playing it. You a man. You's a boy, Damien. You's a boy.
I certainly believe that. I think that they want us to go along with the delusion. You get what I'm saying? These people have mental illness. There's something wrong with them. They're confused, a.k.a. the confused folks, right? Yeah. These folks here want us to go along with their confusion. And the longer we play, the longer we get put at a disadvantage. Let me go ahead here and give a shout out to Eat All Save None for Later, donated on Rumble here, and said real women for women's sports. Absolutely, brother. Let me go ahead and give you Absolutely. You know, these people, we just have to call them out. Liberals don't like the truth, Jamal, and that's what it comes down to here. Before we move on here, I just like to say that liberals don't like the truth.
No.
For you to say what's going on, for you to tell the truth about what's going on, that's bullying. That's picking on a group of people. And this is what Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison is saying. And what he is doing, ladies and gentlemen, he is using a Minnesota civil act, some sort of civil humane act, to back up what he is saying. And I think that's absolutely wrong. And it's incumbent on the women to stand up for their gender. That's the only folks that's going to be able to make a difference and to save the sport. What better spokesperson for what's going on than the actual girls that it's affecting? You get what I'm saying, Jamal?
Yes.
The more females that step up and say, hey, this is wrong, the less likely a confused person will step up and try to take advantage. And I want women to know there's a lot of guys out there who are perverts. They're perverts. I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of guys out there. Go ahead and ask the audience. Ask the guys in the audience. They'll let you know. There's a lot of perverts out there. There's a lot of incels. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, who cannot get any action. Yeah, ain't no stroking action for them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, ain't none. So instead of them to work on their game and the way they speak to women to, try to court them, they don't do that, and they do pervy stuff like this, right? They act like a woman and go inside the girl's bathroom. Yeah, that's an incel. That's a loser. That's a loser. And I want the women to understand there's plenty of guys who are like that. And the trans females, the trans girls that are out there, a lot of them are pervs. I don't care what anybody says. It's a perv. And you go ahead and speak to a father. I doubt there will be a father who will allow a trans girl to enter a bathroom with his little girl.
Nope.
I highly doubt it, ladies and gentlemen.
Going to jail.
And I'm telling ya, guys know guys. We know them. And guys who are doing this, they're pervs. Most of the time, they're sickos. And there's something mentally wrong with them. You know, let's not play around. Let's go ahead and move forward. Make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button. And please,
Jermain.
Absolutely, Shane. Yes, sir.
Real quick. Remember, Keith Ellis was the one who beat his ex-girlfriend. Remember that? Because I got banned. I cannot comment on Keith Ellis' page because when he was running for Minnesota's attorney general and they came out how he beat that girl that was his either his baby mama or
I think it was his wife or something like that. Yeah, baby mama or wife. Beat her
Ellis,
down.
Absolutely. So no wonder he ain't got
a
problem with a man beating a woman down.
Yeah, I think they labeled him a wife beater or something like that. Absolutely. Yeah, and the Minnesota Democratic Party hid it under the rug. They slid it under the rug because they wanted to get his black ass in there. Yeah, you baby, Jamal, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so let's go ahead and move forward. Ladies and gentlemen, please, oh, please, oh, please hit that like button. Make sure you do share. Next one up here. We're going to speak to you guys about Diddy, the diddler, as folks are calling him out there.
It's the diddler.
Yeah. Apparently, Kid Cudi called him a supervillain. They were like, you guys don't know about Diddy. He's a super villain. He threatened to whoop my ass and he blew up my car. Jamal, the brother blowing up cars and everything.
It's the diddler.
They call him the diddler. Man, you can't beat that. Yeah, the diddler's in the news, ladies and gentlemen, and a lot of folks are not happy about it. Now, I said he was going to get off. And in my humble estimation, I believe he probably should have got off all the charges. Yeah, I know there's folks who are going to disagree with me. They're going to get mad. Let's talk it out, baby. Yeah. Hit that like button. Make sure you do share. I want to go ahead and run this. When it comes back, we shall discuss it. Make sure you guys do it. Help us out. And if you can, throw some ducats in the bucket. Oh, yeah.
Tip us.
Yep, it's for a good cause.
Remember, Jermain, tips. We must call them what they are. They're tips. People are tipping us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Make sure you share.
It's the diddler.
The first verdict on count one, racketeering conspiracy. How do you find the defendant not guilty? And so now they'll move on to count two. Count two, how do you find the defendant not guilty? That is the sex trafficking of Cassandra Ventura. On count three, which is Mann Act transportation involving Cassie Ventura, guilty. Count four, sex trafficking of Jane, not guilty. Count five, Mann Act transportation of Jane, guilty.
Guilty.
So mixed verdict here. Not guilty on 3 of the charges, guilty on 2 of the charges. Lisa, your reaction?
Bow. There you go. So you see that there, ladies and gentlemen. The diddler. Yeah, go ahead and get mad. Let it out. I know some folks want to let it out. Yeah, he's not a very nice guy, right? Let's call it like we see it. He's not a very nice guy.
No, he's not.
But is he guilty? Yeah, see, this is where the law meets the emotion. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if it was just about emotion, gosh darn it, he'd probably get the chair. Yeah, you get the chair for the emotion. But for the law, let me tell you, he's not guilty.
Nope.
Jamal, what do you think about this here? There's a lot of folks who are angry. They are mad. They're saying he got off because he has money. You know, he has money. Hold on. He had money. Moolah. That's why he got off. There's a lot of other folks who are saying, no, it ain't about money. It's just that the prosecution didn't do their job.
Nope.
And there's some other folks who are saying he probably should have never been charged to begin with. Now, for the folks who are wondering about the Mann Act, I want to go ahead and explain something because there's a lot of guys in the world who could be convicted of the Mann Act. And I want the gentleman to understand what that is. Let's say that you're on Facebook. Yeah, let's say you're on Facebook, right? You get hit and you're a guy. You get hit up by a beautiful woman. She got big breasts and a big ass. Oh, yeah, something that you like. Mm-hmm. So you go ahead and you start hollering at her. You know, you start using the diddler's line. You know, the diddler got a lot of lines that he uses. Hey, I got money. You want to come spend some money with me? Whatever the line is, right? And the woman says, yeah, I'd like to come over. And you guys are talking and it's hot and heavy, right? Yeah, it's hot and heavy. And you say, hey, you know, I got a little bit of change for you, you know, as well, you know, once you come over. And she's like, you know, my rent is due. So I'm going to come over. She come over and do something strange for a piece of change. Yeah. And you give her that change. Bow. Mann Act. Yeah, you've been caught up in the Mann Act. I want the guys to understand that. Yeah, you're flying out these young girls and you're having sex with them and you give them a new purse. You buy them a pizza.
That's prostitution.
Prostitution, you're going to jail. That's how easy it is. So that's all I want to say. Brother, what do you say about this?
Okay, number one, and I'm glad you started off with that, Jermaine, by saying you may not like what he did. You may think he's a horrible person, but that doesn't mean he violated the law. And I want to say this because people will say this, just because you hit a girl, that don't mean you raped the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you Ike Turner don't mean you take it to the level. And that's the thing. P. Diddy was a freak.
Yep.
He was a freak. He was slapping butt cheeks with all whether or not
he was, boy.
Yeah. He wanted to see bouncing booties.
When he
said, "Can't nobody take my style, can't nobody hold me down. Oh no, I got to keep on moving." He let you know ain't nobody gonna. Okay, when P. Diddy came and you saw how he was, and people saw how he was, okay, he was a freak. Cassidy was involved in it because she was doing it with him. Absolutely. She was participating. And all these excuses people try to make for a woman to say, oh, she didn't know, it's the Stockholm syndrome. Listen.
That's crazy.
The Stockholm syndrome was a defense that was created because the person whom they knew was part of the crime, they wanted to give them a pass. See, the Stockholm syndrome basically says you was been abused so long, you start participating in what your captive tell you to do because you want better treatment. So you start participating. Cassidy was part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Diddy was the diddler. And when it was all over, she just wanted money, keep the fame, and try to do something. And Joe Biden's DOJ brought this. Though Joe Biden's DOJ didn't properly vet her and see, yo, you're part of this. Because if they would have charged Cassidy as well,
they would have
Diddy would have been convicted on all charges.
And that's where everything a lot of it hinged on. Now, Sin Napier put out something that's very, very good. Sin Napier said Diddy trial was composed of 8 men, 4 women. 5 of the jury was white and the rest were non-white. Okay? The men on the jury looked themselves in the mirror. And I want people to understand that, right? And said, you know what? I don't have as much money as Diddy, but this could happen to me. And I want the women to understand that. You could go out with a woman 10, 15 years ago. Something in your relationship didn't go right. You broke it up with her. She sees you moved on. And then she comes back up and says, you know what? Me and so engaged in consensual activity, right? It was consensual, but she says it wasn't, and she felt forced. This is what's going on. And this stuff has been going on for a very long time. It's the same thing that they hit with Trump. Look at E. Jean Carroll. You know that ugly woman that said Trump, that apparently they're saying that Trump fondled her or whatever? A complete lie. I want people to understand this. Guys are tired. So you can get mad at Diddy. You cannot like him. You can say he's a perv. He's an asshole. He's this, that, and the third. But what you can't say he's guilty.
Nope.
And the guys are tired of being mistreated in that way, in a sense. To go, I want the women to imagine that. Imagine you go out with a guy, you break it off with him, and then 5 or 10 years down the road, he comes up and says, "Yeah, I felt like I was abused by Mary. Yeah, she wanted me to give her money so that she could cook for me, but I didn't want to really give her money. And on top of that, she kept forcing me to have sex. And then there was some high-profile lawyers out there who knew you had money and they wanted to come after you. And they know that rich guys will do a lot to get rid of just the allegation.
Yes, they will.
Especially if you have a business. You don't want the allegation to be there, because that allegation will get a lot of the money away from you. Right? Yeah, that you'll lose advertisement dollars. You'll lose business partnerships. All sorts of stuff will come just from the allegation. Right? Oh, I don't want to do business with this person. They said this person was raping somebody. And it's a complete lie. And it happens all the time. So now you're starting to see that guys are getting tired of this. They're no longer going along with we shall just believe all women. You can see that guys are being very out and fervent when it comes to speaking about how wrong it was for the female to do what she was doing. Back in the day, they would have kept their mouth quiet and just accepted it. And I want the women to understand that. The men would have. But it's a new day and a new age. The men aren't going to take it anymore. If you're out there doing the wrong thing with the guy, and then you're acting as if you're holier than thou and ain't going to work. And now guys are getting a lot smarter. They're starting to record females coming over.
Yep.
They're starting to have them sign NDAs. Right? Yeah, I know a lot of guys who do that. And they're not even millionaires. They got a lot of property and you know, some assets and stuff, but they're not millionaires. And they're doing stuff like that. So I want folks to understand that's where we're at. Last words here, sir.
I would like to thank Miss Sally Cushmall. Miss Sally Cushmall.
Let me go ahead and give her the customaries.
Miss Sally tipped through PayPal. I want to thank Miss Sally for tipping through PayPal.
Absolutely.
But Jermain, for years, men have been crying about the unfairness when it comes to one defending themselves against a sexual assault claim. Men have been fighting it, and at the end of the day, if you're a man, it's like the world is against you.
Yep.
And everything is for them. But in this generation, you can't keep allowing that. If you supposed to be equal to everybody, girl boss, then hold her accountable when she participates and she puts herself in a situation. If I meet this girl and a hot Asian and she's like, oh, you're like me, Jamal. I know you're on the Japanese. Yes. I will dress up like Dragon Ball Z for you. Okay. And she like, I'm going to tell your wife. Huh? Then I got to be like, no, he did. Yes, he did. He's a bad man. Let me tell you about what he did. No. And that's what women have been doing. And it just, for once, the men saw it and said,
Yep.
No.
They cut it.
The men on the jury said no.
Yeah, and it's a slippery slope from there, because as soon as he's convicted of that, and I want folks to, it sets a precedence. I want people to understand, it sets a precedence. If he's convicted of something like that, then every gosh darn guy can be convicted. It's so easily. And it's wrong. So I'm glad that the guys nowadays are waking up to what's going on. They're no longer being, quiet about the bad deeds that are going on. So I'm glad about that. Let's go ahead. Actually, I want to go ahead and show you guys a video of the supporters of Diddy when the the verdict was being read. I want you guys to see this. You should see these folks.
Biggie. Was it like after Biggie Smalls' funeral?
Oh, man.
They was out there dancing in the street.
Are having a ball. Let me show you. Look how she took off her hair hat. Look at that.
I don't know what she's gonna do, y'all.
I'm gonna play that again. Yeah, I want the white women to understand. The black guys are running from a lot of the black women because of this. She took off her hair hat and she's wearing a blue hair, looking like Halloween is every day in the black community.
She looked nasty.
I had to point out the hair hat there. Let's go back.
She looked nasty.
Nasty ass.
Thank
Took
you.
off that hair hat. Look at her shaking
Nasty.
I don't know what she's gonna do, y'all.
Yeah, see? And you wonder why black women get the rap that they get.
Nobody, she ain't got no booty trying to bend over, trying to shake it at somebody. The only black woman with no booty.
Let's go ahead and move forward. Make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button. Make sure you do share.
Somebody say these black women for themselves, put them back in slavery.
Yeah.
Make them ain't your mamas again. Put them in a cotton field.
She took off her blue hair and started. I'm gonna play it again. Look at this nonsense. I just can't understand. See, that's where we talk about hair hat. You see how she just took off that hat?
I don't know what she's gonna do, y'all.
Is that dude twerking with showing his boxes?
Yeah.
Was he just twerking?
Yeah. All for the diddler. Let me tell you. All for the diddler. Next one up. We gonna speak to you about Alligator Alcatraz. Trump unveils Alligator Alcatraz, a Florida migrant prison. Apparently, they're going to be alligators, snakes, and tigers, bears to stop them from escaping. I want to go ahead and run this when it comes back. I want to speak about it. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you do share.
Ice.
All righty, here we go.
Tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the great state of Florida to attend the opening of a new illegal alien detention center located at Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport alongside Secretary 5,000 beds to house. Tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the great state of Florida to attend the opening of a new illegal alien detention center located at Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport alongside Secretary Kristi Noem, Governor Ron DeSantis, Congressman Byron Donalds, and other state and local leaders. We hope to see many of you there. The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz. There is only one road leading in, and the only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain. The facility will have up to 5,000 beds to house, process, and deport criminal illegal aliens. This is an efficient and low-cost way to help carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in American history.
And with the Alligator Alcatraz, it's the idea that if some illegal immigrants that they just get eaten by an alligator or they do something.
I guess that's the concept. This is not a nice business. I guess that's the concept. If snakes are fast, but alligators are big. We're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator. Okay? If they escape prison. How to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%. Okay? Not a good thing.
Look at it, man, boy. I put an alligator in each cell.
Teach him how to run.
Teach him how to run. Wow. So that's Alligator Alcatraz. All right, yeah. Brother, brother, I want you to play that play them alligators again. Yeah, I want folks to see it. Yeah.
Hey, look, you want me to play the sound?
Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, boy, them alligator boy. I wonder how much they get paid. Do you think they get paid in immigrants? You get what I'm saying? Yeah, they get paid in illegal immigrants.
Look at the gate up dancing.
Look at what I'm talking about. Look at that. Boy, I thought you was doing the Harlem Shake. Boy.
Look at this one.
Look at that. Oh, look at that.
Look at this one. Look at this.
Boy, I be running.
Look at this.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, look at them praying.
Oh, Lord.
I'm telling you, brother. Alligator Alcatraz. I'm telling you, they gotta be a video game. You get what I'm saying? No, imagine if it was a video game. You get what I'm saying? The Alcatraz prison. You get what I'm saying? You play the illegal alien. I'm telling you, this gonna be a hit. You get what I'm saying? You play the illegal alien, and then what you have to do is try to escape from Alligator Alcatraz. You get what I'm saying? And then you go over that moat. You get what I'm saying? And then you dodge all them alligators, and it'll be a beautiful game. I'm telling you. What do you say to this here? Alligator Alcatraz.
I love every single minute. I love this. You know what? Only Donald Trump can tell you, you know what? They want to try to run. Don't run in a straight line. You got to zigzag. That's comedic timing.
Yeah, I mean, he giving them pointers.
Yes. I don't care what's happening down there because I am sick and tired of illegal immigrants getting treated better than what most Americans get treated.
Yep.
So it is what it is.
Yep. Alligator Alcatraz. I think that'll be a very good video game. You know, we can use that money. People will buy the video game, right? And then we can repurpose that money, and we can build bigger prisons, and we can feed more alligators. You get what I'm saying?
Jermain,
I'm telling you.
Jermain, have you seen the liberals freaking out because of this?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the videos? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of liberals freaking out. 2 of them got cussing in it.
Ooh.
But yes.
Yeah, they're freaking out on CNN.
Out. No,
oh, yeah.
TikTok too. One girl threatened she see you with alligator Alcatraz shirt on, she gonna assault you. Did you hear me? Jermain? This little girl said,
I may need you to send me that one. For jail, somebody Alcatraz shirt. Yeah, see? Of course it'd be a female saying something like that.
look how big she is.
Yeah, Jamal, but every woman believes that they can fight.
Because that's what we have allowed them to believe.
They all do.
Because we protect them.
You just go and ask them to do a push-up. Many women can't do a push-up. Not even, I'm telling you dare a woman to do 2 push-ups and see the face you'll get. Lifting their own body weight. I'm telling you, yeah. You want to see a woman get upset and mad, tell her to do a push-up. All that strength, you got, go ahead and do a push-up. Yeah. I've said it plenty of times. And let me tell you, I've been cussed out plenty of times too. Yeah. Think I'm playing. Go ahead. You go and ask your wife to do a push-up and sit back.
You know
get
what?
some earmuffs.
I already know mine. If I ask her to do some push-ups, she gonna ask me, why in the world would I dare ask her what she doing? Look, we up on the cruise and she didn't even want. Look, I said, hey, you gonna go take the girls to get breakfast? That's what you for. Take them down. I'm gonna lay here and get some bed.
I'm telling you, as a guy, you got to be strong. You got to be strong. I want to go ahead and play this video here. It's with Peter Ducey, and he explains a little bit further about Alligator Alcatraz. I think you guys would like to hear this. Make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button. Make sure you do share. Here we go. This is how it will work and how they will get judges to expedite the illegal aliens due process so that they can get them up and out our country. You get what I'm saying? It's real nice. Yeah, real nice. Take a look.
Here we go. President Trump touring Alligator Alcatraz in the Everglades, and he's back in Florida's plan to have qualified National Guard members work as immigration judges.
Peter Ducey is live with the latest. Hey, Peter.
Good morning. Officials here think they have found their way around a huge bottleneck, and that is the number of illegal immigrants waiting to see a deportation judge. If they're not just going to be caught and released, they need to have a deportation hearing. So what they're going to do down in Florida is they're going to take qualified National Guard judge advocates, and they are going to deputize them as immigration judges. That could allow many migrants to have hearings within 48 hours, limiting their time at Alligator Alcatraz.
See, 48 out, 2 days.
This facility will house some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet.
That's nice.
We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation. And a lot of these people are self-deporting back to their country where they came from.
Tom Homan, the border czar, now reports total Border Patrol encounters for the entire month of June 2025 was 6,070. That is less than a single day under Biden. As a matter of fact, the total number of encounters is less than half of a single day under Biden on many days. And that's contrary to what we were told by the Biden team many times.
I would say this. The president has done more to secure the border and to deal with this issue of immigration than anybody else. He really has.
And with all these new immigration judges, the plan is once a deportation order is given down at Alligator Alcatraz, that person can just be driven 2,000 feet to the airstrip where they can get onto a plane. Once it's full enough, they will take off on a deportation flight. The first arrivals will get there later today. Back to you.
Wow, that was quick turnaround.
That was quick.
Yeah, we'll see if the alligators and the pythons are ready. Stop it. Should something happen? That was your question, right, Peter?
It was, and President Trump taught me how to escape an alligator. And, you come, you're a White House correspondent. We're here to report on the important policy. But sometimes that could be the thing. I spend a lot of time down in Florida. That could be the thing that saves my life someday.
It's true, especially if you go
the
like in South Carolina or in Florida. Yes, my dad used to tell us that too.
The internet is undefeated, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness gracious. Brother, the internet is undefeated. So there you go. They're going to deputize National Guard advocate judges over there. And they're going to be, what is it called? They're going to be the illegal immigration judges to get these guys up out of here. Brother, what do you think about, the plan here? Getting these people out of here. Do you think that, the due process, in a sense, how fast they're able to see a judge dictates how fast these people would be out of our country, and our taxpayers saving money as well from doing this?
You know what, Jermain, all jokes aside on this, it's funny. The people who violated our due process to come into the nation is demanding all of a sudden due process to throw their butt out. I want people to think about that. They violated due process to come to America.
Yeah, and then they're supposed to get
give due process to throw you out. No, get out. That's why I'm so
the human rights folks.
Yes, that's why I'm glad. And here's the thing: people don't see the genius in it. Ron DeSantis and Trump, this could not be accidental. By putting Alligator Alcatraz in Florida. Florida is a ruby red state. Mm-hmm. The federal judges down there are what? Republican. Yep. Judge Cannon. Judge Cannon is the one who checked Jack Smith. When Jack Smith was going after President Trump, it was Judge Cannon of Florida who said that he was unconstitutionally put in charge of investigating Trump. She stopped him when it came to the documents case for about 6 months. She stopped him. So, being that it's there in Florida, if they try to protest and try to go judge shopping, they pulled it today. Something happened today, and a judge did a nationwide injunction. Donald Trump is doing an emergency thing. The Supreme Court has said district judges aren't supposed to do that.
Oh, yep.
So you had one that tried today to try to test the Supreme Court gangster, and I believe the Supreme Court about to slap him down.
Mm-hmm.
So President Trump worked with Ron DeSantis, got it perfectly in this area where they can fly people in. Also, it's on a runway where they can land that plane and send them out of here.
Send them out. It's a nice shoot. They got a nice little drop station. Yep. They got it real nice now. You get what I'm saying? And the base is down there for a reason. I want folks to know that. Is there for a reason. I think that this will be a very, very good deterrent as well for people that are trying to come over here illegally. If they know that they're going to be sent down there to deal with the alligators, you get what I'm saying? You see that alligator over there cooking bacon and stuff? Yeah, imagine if I'm in, let's say, Juarez, Mexico. Right? Mexico. I'm in Juarez, Mexico. And I see the alligators on TV cooking bacon. You get what I'm saying? The alligators holding M16s. You get what I'm saying? Holding M4s. The Bravo 249s. You get what I'm saying? I'm going to be scared. I'm going to be scared. Yeah,
There
yeah.
go
Look,
cooking
see,
bacon.
look at them cooking bacon. I'm scared, ladies and gentlemen. You get what I'm saying? there might be something brown in my pants if I'm in Juarez, Mexico, and I'm looking at something like this. While I'm sitting there ordering a burrito.
Bacon.
You don't understand. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, this will be very good. You get what I'm saying? It will be very good. It's a deterrent. And then also, it's a way to get these folks up out of here. You get what I'm saying? We're kicking them out of our party. Yeah, they done drunk up all the beer and the Corona. All the Corona is gone. They have to leave now. You know what I'm saying? They have to leave. Last words on this here, sir, before we move forward.
You know what, Jermaine? What you said is so true. This is why we have to have it this way, because we need a deterrent. And yes, if you see an alligator cooking bacon,
I'm telling you.
If you see an alligator cooking bacon,
boy,
that means he made that bacon out of something. When you got gators with guns scratching and DJing,
I'm telling you,
get
scratching the
up
nuts
here.
and everything. I'm scared.
But it's a good deterrent, and that's what we need. If you can convince them not to come, that's the best plan. That's the best immigration policy. When you can convince people not to come illegal.
It is. It is. They need to do a lot of commercials with them gators. I'm telling you. You get what I'm saying? They throw a gator movie together. You know, they do the video game stuff that I'm telling you about. You know, Gator Alcatraz. You get what I'm saying? You're the illegal alien. You get what I'm saying? And then you'll try to get the illegal alien out of the jail. You know, and every time you try to get out of the jail, them damn alligators are biting off your limbs. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, it'd be crazy. You know, you're running, they get an arm, they get a leg here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm telling you, you're doing millions, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
Hit that like button, make sure you share. Next one up, y'all. I want to speak to you guys about the new governor. I was about to say mayor. The new governor of New York, Zohran Mamdani. All right, I don't know if I said that correct.
He's the mayor. Mayor candidate.
I done screwed up the name. I know it. Gosh darn, we're gonna call him Zorro. You know what I'm saying? Zorro said in plenty of press conferences that he is not for ICE, and he'll do whatever he can do to make sure that illegal aliens get their due process and protect them. Donald Trump has a message for him. He does. And I want you guys to hear it.
Mr. President, your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zohran Mamdani, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zohran Mamdani.
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation. We send him money. We send him all the things that he needs to run a government. And by the way, they get about 3 times what you get, Ron. If you look at the per capita, Florida gets 1/3 of what New York gets in terms of the numbers. Why don't you give us those numbers?
Yeah, well,
because that's what we should send him.
Yeah, well, like sometimes people say Florida gets more because they count Social Security recipients, but that's not money to the state. Those are seniors that live here. If they moved to North Carolina, you could count it there. So it has no interaction with the state government. They get more in the city and state governments than we get.
Right. substantially. We're going to be watching that very carefully, and a lot of people are saying he's here illegally. He's, we're going to look at everything, and ideally, he's going to turn out to be much less than a communist. But right now, he's a communist. That's not a socialist. I've always said we will not have socialism in this country. In the speeches, I said, well, what? They skipped socialism, and you got a lot of them like that. And you see AOC, she's out there with her, bad IQ. She's out there ranting and raving about how wonderful he is.
My man.
Look, so far he's winning. He still has a race to win, but so far he's winning, and he has an advantage as a Democrat in New York City. I was there a long time ago, and it was a long time since a Republican won the city. Yeah, but you would think that a Republican would be able to win. Or you have a good independent running, Mayor Adams, who's a very good person. I helped him out a little bit. He had a problem, and he was unfairly hurt over this question.
The liberals
he made a statement to the
Eric
effect
Adams,
that this is terrible.
boy.
New York City can't have all these immigrants come in. And like he was indicted the following day. And I said, that was a phony indictment. And it was a phony indictment. That was a Biden indictment. I said, don't feel bad. I got indicted 5 times. Every time you opened your mouth. That was a bad group. That was a very dangerous group, I will tell you. These were not nice people. That was the only thing they could do. They had no policy, they had no skill, they had no anything. But they were very good at that. They were vicious, vicious, horrible people. Thank you very much.
I'm Steve. Bow. So there you go. Trump goes ahead and says we don't need more communists here in America. And he's absolutely correct. We don't need any more communists. Aren't we tired of crazy folks? Sometimes I don't even believe they get in. I think that, they're selected in. A lot of these people put out these crazy ideas, things that you didn't think anybody would vote for, but apparently there's folks voting for them. Brother, what do you say to this here? Trump is saying that we don't need any more communists in America. He called AOC bad IQ. He's saying that, here, listen, America doesn't need all this. He's thinking that a Republican can win, New York. He doesn't know why, but, apparently New York is going this way. What do you think?
It's white guilt. That's exactly what it is. What started all this crap off is white guilt. And I want to go down memory lane real quick, Jermain. I don't know how long you watch NBA basketball. Isaiah Thomas said one time during the
that's dirt
Eastern Conference Eastern Conference playoffs against Larry Bird.
I was in my daddy's nuts. Man, I'm sorry. You said Isaiah Thomas. Woo. Man,
Isaiah Thomas had made a comment. Isaiah had made a comment about Larry Bird and about
this brother said Larry Bird. That's double dirt old. My bad.
I am that old.
Boy, that's done. That's done.
And people said that comment was racist. People said the comment Isaiah Thomas said about him was racist. Now, you didn't, after that, the Rodney King thing, people start putting movies and TV shows with white guilt. You haven't seen a strong white character repel a black supremacist. The last time you've seen it was Die Hard 3, when Bruce Willis told Samuel L. Jackson's character in Die Hard 3, he said, "You got a problem with me because I'm white. You're a racist."
That Negro was crazy.
And you have never seen another movie that challenges black people like that. Now, what you will see is people challenging black preachers. who upholding the word of God.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying, the reason why we got this situation, because of white guilt, weak conservative parents who helped perpetuate this white guilt, and this man took advantage of it at the right time. And so people want communism. People think it's cool. People think it's going to make everybody like each other and love each other.
And be one.
This man is dangerous. And I like what President Trump said. If he opposes ICE and gets in a way, he should be arrested. This man said defund the police. This man said every police officer is a racist and a bigot. So he should be held accountable for what he's saying and not vote for him. But they did vote for him because that's the state of the Democrat Party. And that's the state wherever they're in power, and it's going to take crushing them with courts and the people and even the presidency.
Absolutely. The president and the courts need to do their job to make sure that no legislation or anything is passed with this man being in office like this. One thing that I'm concerned about is that this won't be one-off and this will be a trend. Like I said, here in Minneapolis, there is Democratic Socialists on the city council already.
Yep.
So they've already moved in a lot of these urban areas, and they've gotten in a stronghold. So it's only a matter of time before they have a candidate who has enough, enough power, enough gumption, enough people behind them to get in. So America needs to wake up. It does. And a lot of it has to deal with the schools as well, because the schools are the number one place that children spend most of their time in. And if most of our schools are liberal, most of our teachers are, women, it's going to be very hard for us to be able to mold our children in the right way. There's no way we can sit back and, allow this to happen and close our eyes. We need to make sure that we have politicians who understand that this type of, politician that's coming in, these Democratic Socialists, are a threat to our democracy. That needs to be apparent, and it needs to be understood by the new upcoming politicians that are Republican and conservative who want to hold that banner. They need to be able to exhibit that they understand this and move in that manner. You get what I'm saying, Jamal?
Yes.
Because without that, we're going to be losing the fight. And the fight is propaganda, and the fight is culture. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm just hoping that, it's a phase and not a trend. Last words on this here, sir.
It's a trend, and the worst part about it, it's a way of life and thinking. When people start breaking down norms and make the abnormal normal, then you start getting situations and things like this. Look at what's going on, Jermain. Look at what's going on between high schools and stuff. You got these little white girls, very, very attractive, okay? But they think it's okay to get knocked up by the neighborhood YN. Nigga! They think it's okay to get knocked up by him. Not married, but knocked up. They try to do everything they can because their conservative parents didn't enforce what they say. You get in your room, Elizabeth. Shut up, Mom. You know what? I'm going to pray for you. Yeah, you pray, but pass the bill and light they hind parts up.
Mm-hmm.
Say, you got to pray that the Lord give you strength not to go overboard.
Yeah, whoop their ass.
And a lot of white conservatives failed to do that because they wanted to be friends instead of parents. And this, Jamal, what did this got to do with this guy? They started hating America. They started talking about they hating America. And some of you parents, when they started talking like that, you didn't slap the taste out of their mouth.
Didn't say nothing to them.
And you allowed it to fester, and this is what we got.
Yep. And a lot of the stuff they're doing is first world issues as well, too. This I hate America, this, that, and the third. They don't do that in other countries. They just don't. They don't have that type of mindset. So let's go ahead and move forward. Next one up here, ladies and gentlemen. I want to speak to you about a young lady. Well, I don't know if she's a lady. Well, let me stop before I get in trouble. She goes by the name of Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, Cratchit, Crockett, Crotch Ratchet. Yeah, Crab Crotchet, something. Well, yeah, Jasmine Crockett. She says something about Melania, Trump, and immigration that has a lot of people eyes rolling, and I want you guys to take a look at this. Make sure you guys do us a favor, hit that like button, make sure you do share. Jasmine Crockett here, even though she comes from a affluent background, she sounds ghetto as hell. I don't even know what's going on with her. Take a look at this. Here we go.
Thank you so much. It's interesting that we're being accused of wanting all kinds of criminals to be on the streets, or that we don't believe that people should show up to their meetings and appointments. Last time I checked, there's a lot of people that are actually being grabbed as they are going in for their appointments. In fact, we know that one of the candidates that was recently running in this mayoral, he ended up being arrested because he decided that he was actually going to escort people that are actually showing up to their meetings. Or we know that the Pope, yes, the Pope himself, decided that the church may need to have people that are going to escort people as they're going into their meetings, because the reality is that what they are claiming what they want to do versus what they're actually doing, the actions don't match up. And while we are supposed to be talking about visas, somehow we continue to cherry pick and talk about one criminal act and another criminal act. And it is so very interesting to me that, yes, we will say people are xenophobic, because when you start to decide that just because somebody came from another country, they are automatically some kind of criminal, that does sound kind of xenophobic to me, because you are using a paintbrush to paint an entire group of people where the vast majority of them are coming here because they are actually seeking a better life. But let me get to what this hearing is supposed to be about. The idea that Trump and my Republican colleagues want to restore integrity and security in the visa process is actually a joke. Let me be clear. Integrity is not snatching lawful visa holders off the streets and throwing them into unmarked vans. Integrity is not revoking visas based on social media posts that hurt somebody's little feelings because kids decide that they want to go after Trump or this administration. We have a thing called free speech in this country. And since we're talking about integrity, I'm confused as to why my Republican colleagues aren't talking about the lack of integrity when it comes to the president's family's visas. Let me remind y'all that Melania, the first lady, a model, and when I say model, I'm not talking about Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, or Naomi Campbell level, applied for and was given an EB-1 visa. And what that stands for is an Einstein Visa. Now, y'all that don't know, let me tell you how you receive an Einstein Visa. You're supposed to have some sort of significant achievement, like being awarded a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer, being an Olympic medalist, or having other sustained extraordinary abilities and success in sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics. Last time I checked, the First Lady had none of those accolades under her belt. It doesn't take an Einstein to see that the math ain't mathin' here. Nevertheless, what Republicans are doing with this reconciliation process, the travel bans and revoking visas, jeopardizes our national security. It threatens our communities, our higher education, and our economy. Visas like the largely vetted J visas for higher education and M visas for trade, training, attract the next innovators, medical providers, researchers, and educators that we need to build on American success. I'm not gonna mess up your name, so I'm not doing that. But I'm with you, okay? In your experience, do individuals on J or M visas typically improve or impair our economy?
They generally improve the economy, and I can give a brief example. My wife is a very successful woman. She makes a ton of money, which I'm grateful for. And the reason why we're able to do that while having 3 children is because of the au pair visa, somebody who is here on a J, who is here and able to supply this for us. But I also wanted to...
There you go. You got Jasmine Crockett running her mouth as usual. You guys can see the attitude that she has. You know, back in the day, politicians had a lot more decorum. They were a lot more respectful when they spoke. You know, it seems to be the norm on the liberal left to pick rude, crude, nasty folks to speak for their districts. That's what it seems like they pick, you know, and it seems like the new breed of politician, the liberal politician, is usually a woman. She has a loud mouth. She's rude, crude, and out of control. What do you think about this first? Let me start with that. What do you think about this first?
What's in the water? Okay, here's what happened. Back in the days, hopefully you won't too old for this. BET used to have videos, music.
Okay,
videos.
yep, I know. Yeah. See, I'm not old then.
And there used to be somebody up there was a video cartoon character named Miss Cedar, baby.
Oh yeah, yup.
And Miss Cedar was the loudest, ignorantest black woman you can ever be. And black women started adopting that. Remember, we've always had a choice for black women. You had Claire Huxtable.
Yep. Yeah, Claire Huxtable Black. Yep.
Who was a feminist.
Yeah, she was.
A lot of people don't know. That character was a feminist and tore a lot of the black community apart because they wanted to emasculate black men. Because if you look at Cliff,
yeah, she used to do that to Heathcliff. Yep.
Then you had Florida Evans.
Oh, Lord.
And strong black men like James Evans won't put up with it. And then you start seeing these loud, obnoxious black women start popping up on TV shows.
Yep.
Sanford and Son, Esther, geez, oh Lord. But she was loud and obnoxious and very annoying. Then you start seeing it more and more and more, and then they start making young black women ignorant on television. It's a different
Tyler Perry effect
from where you come from. Oh, Tyler Perry, he chasing
gay butt.
Yes, Boondocks was right about him. But
they were.
This started coming. Then it came from a character to way people act. Jasmine Crockett is playing a character because that's not how she talks. That's not how she really is.
She doesn't speak like that normally.
The black community will accept that. No other race on this planet accepts the ignorant and most downgrade as a representative. None. This woman is ignorant. This woman is stupid. This woman is dumb.
Absolutely. Ignorant, dumb, stupid. And I also believe that this is a tactic. They know that a lot of white folks can't deal with the ghettoism. It's something hard for them to deal with. You get what I'm saying, Jamal? She acting rude, crude, out of control like that. You don't see many white folks trying to deal with that. Usually, it puts them off. You get what I'm saying? They don't know how to deal with Lakeisha when she's acting like that. You get what I'm saying? So when Lakeisha's acting like that, if you psychologically sit back and you look at what's going on, Lakeisha is dominating the conversation, right? Because she's loud, she's boisterous, right? She's rude. So when you try to talk, she shuts you down by over talking you. All right? I want folks to understand this is psychology here. And they know that the decorum of how politicians used to speak, that one person would speak and they would speak with respect to another, right? And they would have an honest dialogue. That has been taken away when you added the black ghetto bitch, right? Yeah. You add the black ghetto bitch to it. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, all that decorum is thrown out the window. So anytime you're having a situation, a debate, that black ghetto bitch will overtake that conversation. That ghetto-ness, that type of brash talking, right? Because she's going to cut you down. She's going to overtalk you. She's going to cut in. She's going to call you names. This is what they do. And if you're part of the old class of politicians, the old decorum, waiting till the other person's done talking before you begin talking and stuff like that, you're not going to win that type of argument. You're not going to win, right, in the public's eye, because it's going to look like the other person's winning that argument, that debate, because you haven't said that many words and because that person is dominating the speaking field. Brother, any last words of this before we begin our descent, I should say?
I still go back to the community is putting her up. They're voting for her. She's going on black television shows and black media, and they're celebrating her.
Mm-hmm.
So when the community starts saying, hey, Jasmine Crockett, you're a fake. Hey, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you're a fake. Hey, Muslim was running for mayor, you're not poor. Your family was radical and rich. That's when we stop it. But the black community, first, we have to reject this stuff. But as you played, of the people out there celebrating P. Diddy, they look like niggas.
Yep. You can't get around that. Can't get around that. Let's go ahead and move forward. Ladies and gentlemen, please, oh please, oh please, do your due diligence. Hit that like button. Make sure you do share. Next one up. I want to speak to you guys about another young lady. Well, I don't know how young she is, but she is a lady. Candace Owens. She was recently on Piers Morgan. And they had a debate about Israel and America, entering that field and helping. And let me tell you something. She said something on there that took a lot of folks back. And also might have won over some folks as well. Candace Owens says she would rather have her sons go to jail than to fight for Israel. Now let that sink in. Yeah, let that sink in. Candace Owens says that she would rather have her sons go to jail than to fight for Israel. Now, think about this here, ladies and gentlemen, when I'm playing this clip. If you have any children and how much you love your child, would you allow your child to go fight for Israel? Would you?
Nope. Yes.
Here we go.
Yes.
Under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, Article 90, dishonourable discharge can result in forfeiture of all pay and allowances up to 5 years confinement, which is a pretty heavy penalty to pay.
Yeah, I'd want my kids to go to jail before they fought for Israel. I'll say that honestly.
Okay,
I would. I have 3 sons, and I'm going to be honest with you, Pierce. I'm glad you told me that consequence. I'd take that consequence any day to them being sent back over in a coffin because they died for Israel.
Uniform Code of Military Justice,
I'm gonna play
Article
that again.
90, dishonourable discharge can result in forfeiture of all pay and allowances up to 5 years confinement, which is a pretty heavy penalty to pay.
Yeah, I'd want my kids to go to jail before they fought for Israel. I'll say that honestly.
Okay,
I would. I have 3 sons, and I'm going to be honest with you, Pierce. I'm glad you told me that consequence. I'd take that consequence any day to them being sent back over in a coffin because they died for Israel.
Bow. So Candace Owens, a lot of people say that she's a grifter. She done flip flop. Yeah, she done lost her mind. There's some folks out there who are saying, gosh darn it, this is the BI-itch we need. The America First folks are saying that, you know, we kind of agree with her. We don't want to go and fight for Israel. Brother, what do you say? First of all, what do you think about this here? Would you go and allow your child to fight for Israel? She says that she wouldn't. She wouldn't allow her child to do it at all, and gosh darn it. Well, let's start with her statement. What do you think about what she said?
Dumb and ignorant.
I think that's a good starting point.
If your child is in the military, as well as you know, we're giving orders. It's not for you. If you're gonna join the military and you're gonna try to not take orders, that's not the place for you.
Yep.
Because if you don't, you will get a BCD, a baked chicken dinner, better known as a bad conduct discharge.
Oh, you don't want those. Nope.
Oh God, I'm looking at the word right now. It's a dishonorable
discharge.
Okay. What she is saying,
UCMJ, you don't want them.
You would rather your child has a baked chicken dinner, bad conduct discharge. Rather your child have a dishonorable discharge than following orders. Nobody's sending their children to go fight for Israel. But if American interest is we don't allow Israel to fall because it will spread radical Islam, then that's just what it is. My brother had a unit when he was in the army. Some of his unit was in Israel during Desert Storm. Because when Saddam Hussein shot Scuds, it was our Patriot system that knocked them out. This was American soldiers in Israel firing to protect them. That's just the job of the president. And if you don't like the president, you may have to defend somebody you don't like, then it is what it is. Don't join. Yep. But what Candace have allowed this mistreatment of white males to go way far. Yes, we understand why she's mad. During the George Floyd riots, Jewish people did not stand beside white men. And so she's mad at white men. But she's taking it to another level. Like, girl, you crazy.
Yeah. Everybody and their mama was saying this, Jamal. You know, if you're in the military, you're there fighting for the country, and you know you're taking orders from up top. You know, and you knew that before you got in that position there.
Yes.
Now, she's talking about she wouldn't let her children this, that, and the third. You know, I don't think that she knows everything that Trump knows. I don't think that she's privy to everything. And I also don't think that she, you know, thinks with that type of military mindset. You know, that region is very, very fragile in a sense. And if we lose our ally in that region, it becomes a very, very dangerous area, and it becomes a dangerous world for us. I want folks to understand that. Those people over there, they have a different thought process. They don't think like us at all. Enlightenment hasn't reached there yet. I want people to understand that. You know how enlightened we are in our country? The freedoms that we have, the morality that we have, they don't have the same type of morality in that sense. They don't have the same sort of thought process. It's almost like they're back in the Stone Age. And I want people to understand that. You go ahead and speak to people who've been to Afghanistan, they've been to Iran, they've been to that region. They'll tell you it's like you're walking back into time. I want people to understand that. A lot of folks who are in that region, they don't even have any electricity, running water. I want people to understand that it's not like America. Not at all. There's folks over there who are gosh darn hungry. Third world.
Third world hunger. Not
You're
like
hungry.
American hunger.
Hold on, you're
third world hunger.
You're hungry. Right? They don't have background checks like they have background checks here. I want folks to understand that. They don't. When you go and go put in an application at Habibi don't know ya. You're usually gonna be hired on through a family friend. It's back in the Stone Age. So those people, they don't think like us. It's whoever has the biggest stick. Yes. Whoever is the most ruthless. I want people to understand, you can't go over there and be nice.
Mm-mm.
They don't respect niceness. Right? I want people to understand that. Those people are rough and tough. They respect whoever has the biggest stick. That's why a lot of them respect Trump. Because he's not a pussy. I'm just gonna tell you how it is. Yeah. When you're in a room with those type of folks, with those type of men, they're examining who got the biggest balls. Yeah, I got about, 5 more hairs on my balls than you do. That means that I got more balls, I got bigger balls than y'all. That's the way it is. So we have to be able to, have people understand that enlightenment hasn't reached over there. They don't think like us. They don't at all.
No.
So all the niceness and altruism and all that type of stuff you have and all that fluttery emotion and stuff like, they don't have that. If they could, they'd kill all of us and steal our land. Yeah, they would. And they would say praise Allah while they're doing it. Last words, brother.
People really, and you're right, people don't understand these people. And that's what Donald Trump said. We have been fighting these people and not understanding who they are. Unless you're going to be cruel, like the Ottoman Empire was, or Saddam Hussein. Notice.
Yeah. I was
Saddam
just
Hussein
about to bring up Saddam,
problem.
boy.
You notice the Iranians don't have that problem.
Nope.
Muammar Gaddafi
never had that problem. And you know why? Because he was ruthless.
Thank you. And that's that area. They respect strength. And they
only
see
respect
Donald Trump
that.
is strong. We toppled Saddam Hussein. Then they start with all the craziness, and you had ISIS because we didn't know how to fight them. We was the ones who toppled Muammar Gaddafi. They didn't know how to fight him, and the craziness came.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's how it is. I'm sorry to say, but that's how it is. Those folks stayed in power because they showed how ruthless they can be.
Yep.
And once you are able to understand that part of the world, you understand the way they think, you understand the culture, all this other altruism, first world thinking BS will go out the window because they don't care about that. They don't care about how nice you are or how nice you are to trans folks. Do you think they care about how nice you are to trans folks? I want people to understand that. Do you think they care? Do you think they care how nice you are to gays? Or how nice you are to blacks? You think they care? Hold on, do you?
No.
They don't care about that. They don't. So once you start understanding, these people don't care about none of that crap. Shoot. They care about killing you. That's what they care about, And if you talk about, hey, if you mess with us, we're going to kill you. And then and on top of that, we're going to take your country and everybody's going to be speaking English. Yeah, then you're speaking their language. Yeah, that's their language there. Yeah. Let's go ahead and move forward. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you do share. Last but not least, we're in our descent, going down, getting ready, winding down to the end of the show here. Elon Musk, he vows to help defeat Republicans who helped pass the megabill. I want you guys to take a look at this. Here we go. You know what? Hold on here. I want to go ahead here and...
Are we going to go Rumble only?
No,
Not a lot of people know about this brand, but it's one that I and a ton of other college and pro.
Here we go.
President Trump calls his big, beautiful bill, which could be headed for a final vote in the Senate after a long day of debating amendments to it and perhaps for some Republican members staring into the abyss. Here's why. Polling consistently shows it is strikingly unpopular with voters. The Congressional Budget Office estimates it adds more than $3 trillion to the national debt and could deprive nearly 12 million Americans of health insurance through Medicaid. That in it now comes with a double dose of existential terror for Republicans on the fence. On the one hand, the president over the weekend managed to drive one opponent of the bill out of seeking another term. On the other, Elon Musk has just weighed in on anyone voting yes, quoting him now. Every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending and then immediately voted for the biggest debt increase in history should hang their head in shame. And if that weren't enough, he adds, and they will lose their primary next year if it is the last thing I do on this earth. Now, given that his Mars mission won't be ready to go for years, that's a lot of primaries. But that's not all. He also reiterated his call from 3 weeks ago for a new political party and says he would start one a day after the bill passes. Rock meet hard place. North Carolina's Tom Tillis chose The Rock, announcing that he will not seek another term, and he slammed the president on the bill's Medicaid cuts.
What do I tell 663,000 people in 2 years or 3 years when President Trump breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid because the funding's not there anymore, guys? It is inescapable that this bill in its current form will betray the very promise that Donald J. Trump made in the Oval Office.
Bow.
So today, White House Press Secretary
I want to stop it there because
what the hell is that around Tom Tillis' neck?
Yeah, this is serious. Now, Trump is getting the blame right now for him and the bill and everything else, but I want folks to understand Joe Biden and these weak-ass politicians put us into this. COVID and this, this Russian war dealing with Ukraine, these folks have been stealing money.
Yep.
And that's what's going on. I want folks to understand. Remember, if you watched me last year and the year before that, remember I was telling you, hey, Ukraine, they're sending money over there. They're using it as a money laundering scheme. That's exactly what's going on. And that's exactly where our money has disappeared to. Ukraine, the COVID scam, and in a lot of politicians' pockets. And right now, Trump is trying to save the country. And to be honest, I don't think they're being honest with the American people. From what I've been told, is very serious here. The financial, situation in Congress is very serious. Like America's broke. That's why they're spending, they're printing money out of thin air. And they're fudging with the books. America got no money. So this bill, in a sense, is needed to try to correct what's going on. It's not going to be nice, but it's better than the alternative that's coming up. And I don't know if it's going to be enough to even save America in that sense. And hopefully, maybe in the next few months, they'll be honest about what's going on with the financial situation. Brother, what do you say to this here? Elon Musk he was head of Dodge. You know, he was quite scared about, you know, the things he found out about Dodge. You know, not about Dodge, but about USAID and a lot of these politicians getting paid and them ripping folks off and with the COVID scam and stuff like that. He's not there anymore. He's saying that this bill is, you know, not good for America. It's going to hurt America more than anything. And he vows, if it's the last thing he does, to get rid of any Republican that decides to vote and pass on this bill here. What do you think about it?
Elon Musk can be right and wrong. Is he right about cutting the costs and making sure we get a bill that's supposed to be cutting? He was. However, the Republican Party squandered our supermajority in 2016. When we allowed Paul Ryan to allow all that stuff to come out to Trump, to hold up bills Donald Trump wanted to do because he didn't feel that was what we should be doing. Not what was the president said should be doing, but holding up what President Trump wanted to do. We should have did that vote on Obamacare. That should have came down the pike the third month President Trump was in office.
Yeah.
He waited to the second year, 2018. When John McCain walked in and thumbed down. There should have been so many attacks on John McCain. He shouldn't have been, well, my cancer's the reason I retired. He should have been doing like that sorry bum we got for Senator Tom Tillis because he read the tea leaves. Tom Tillis ain't retiring because he got principles. The donors here in North Carolina said Tom Tillis is behind 13 points to any Democrat.
Oh, Lord.
The Democrat who's sitting up there with one arm, one leg going
gonna beat him.
Tom Tillis behind 3 points with him.
Gosh darn it.
So nobody wants Tom Tillis. Tom Tillis is getting out because the donors ain't gonna back him because they recognize he betrayed them. The Republican Party can't get a 330 Republicans to 116 Democrats. We ain't gonna get that no more because they can't be trusted. When Nancy Pelosi took back the House in 2018, everybody talks about, oh, Nancy Pelosi, they beat Donald Trump, yay! No, Nancy Pelosi did not have more than what? 10, sometimes 3. So she won't ruling by 12 and 13 Republicans. It's just 12, 13 Democrats. It's just the Democrats stick together.
Yeah.
The Democrats stick together. The Democrat Party stick together and gonna hold themselves and gonna make sure they get what they want.
Yeah. You know, that's one thing I can tell you that the Democrats, you know, that they're good at. You know, no matter how much they fight, they come together to make sure that they stand up against evil. Against good. Ain't that the truth? You know, evil comes together. Let me tell you.
Yes.
Good, they start fighting. You know, we got to change that. We have to. You know, Elon Musk is like a bad rash. He's like a bad ex-girlfriend. You know, you done got rid of the broad and, you know, you turn around and she's there. She's at your mama house. You know, she's at the movies. She's at the gas station. You get what I'm saying? She's at the grocery store, underneath your bed. Woman won't leave you alone, you know? Bad rash. These folks here, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump is probably going to have to do some PR war against this man Musk. Musk, he's not going to leave him alone.
No.
He's not going to leave him alone. And by him saying stuff like that, you know he's not going to be left alone. So Trump is going to have to step up, and he's going to have to, he's going to have to put on the armor of God and go to battle. You know, and sometimes that's what you have to do. You know, but it's good to know who your enemies are. I want folks to understand that, you know. If Elon Musk was an enemy and he became a friend, that would have been a good guy. But Elon Musk did it the other way, so he becomes a huge snake. Yeah. So, be careful who your friends are. Yeah. You see that? That's a good, it's a very good lesson. Absolutely a good lesson. Be careful who your friends are, because they can turn on you. Brother, that is a show.
All right.
Yeah,
I had some fun tonight, Jermain.
Yeah,
I had some
brother,
fun
I'm
tonight.
tired. We 2:04, 2 hour 4 minutes. Yeah, them alligators they're like, yeah, Jermain, you got a little bit extra dark tonight. Yup, you done. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I'm done. Fried, died, and laid to the side. Let me tell you, brother. Any last word for our fantastic crowd of tonight?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody who gave. Thank you, everybody who came out. Once again, please, 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 tip some brothers. Tip us. Not tit us. Tip us.
Tip.
It's a small day, look. And what people don't understand with numbers, if 30 people do $3 or 10 people do $3, that's a tip. And now that because of the big, beautiful bill, when you tip us, we remember it was Joe Biden who started taxing content creators.
Yeah.
If you got over $600, then you was taxed. Now
so
Trump
evil.
like
They
no.
get every little scrap they can.
So we're tipped now. You can tip us.
Yeah.
Like the show. If you like us, you like, that Jamal, he crazy, Jermain, Did you like the show? Did you share it?
Yeah.
When you was laughing, did you go to Jermain page and subscribe, become a subscriber? Did you share on Jermain page? Is your goal to help Jermain get 100 new people by the end of the month? Come on, let's get up here and do it. Had a wonderful time, Jermain. Had a wonderful time laughing. It was a great show tonight.
Oh, yeah. Very, very, very good show. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on here and hanging out with us. I shall be on tomorrow. I have a guest, Keith Bridges from Quarantine Podcast here in Minnesota. He will be on tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central. So we shall be streaming on basically all the pages here. So make sure you guys come and hang out with us. We have a lot to discuss tomorrow. So we'll be speaking about it's Men's Month, actually. Yeah, I think it's Men's Month.
Isn't that White History Month?
Yeah, Men's History Month, Men's Month, Big 21 Conference. Hold on, maybe I think so. Yeah, we're gonna be speaking about some men stuff. We'll be speaking about things that are going on here in Minnesota and Trump. Yeah, and everything. Yeah, everything. That's what we'll be doing. So make sure you guys come and hang out with us. And it shall be a good time. All right. So with that being said, you guys take care. Have a very, very good night. And we shall see you guys here tomorrow with another edition of Conservative Nation. And next week with another edition of, you guys know what it is. Take care.
Double Bear J.
Yep. I'm tired. Bye-bye.